It's now 10 minutes to start, 10 minutes to start, and 2 minutes to start for the forerunner. The start order is light ski, iron, rivi, note, greco, love, bukvitz, ying, kaliki, hasna, both, Mike Taylor, Walker, Apia, Nicole, and Mexumini. 10 minutes to start. One minute to forward.
Race 5 of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup season. We're in Lillehammer in Norway, the venue for the 1994 Winter Olympic Games. The final day of sliding in this first full combined World Cup ever on the Olympic track. Last time there was a World Cup here, it was women and skeleton only, and now men are competing here as well. The ice has been fantastic, the welcome has been astonishing, and the scenery as well. Look at it, just drop dead gorgeous. Definitely want to come back to this place in a big hurry. What about this track? Well, it's just over a mile in length. It's not the fastest, it's not the most dangerous tracks that we've got in the business, but there are still plenty of challenges, not least of which is the start ramp. Drops away almost immediately. Quite a long run down into the first corner to get into the sled. That's going to be important for the four-man. Start record, I'm bound to mention this. Catty bugged me incessantly to say she and Jennifer Onasanya do have a start record. Jen isn't here. She's at home with baby Otis. Hi to you guys. Then down out of corner 6, really key for speed, corner 6 and the upper corners, into the labyrinth, 7, 8, and then 9, the first of 3 left-handers, 10, double pressure, drop down into 11, so easy to lose time there. Out of corner 12, and then, this is key, 13, exit of 13, the only straight on the track, down into 14, come into the middle on 14, 15, don't crash, Francesco Frugic, please note, exit 16 and across the line. It's all done pretty quickly. The ice has been absolutely fantastic. Track records have tumbled and are likely to do so again today. Probably the start record's going to go as well. Lauren Alter, Lisa Buchwitz, Kim Kilicki of Germany are the top 3 in the World Cup rankings, ahead of Melanie Hassler, Brianna Walker and Alana Myers-Taylor. Alana back after having her second son, Noah, last season. He and Nico, his older brother, are on tour with Alana. So, boy, talk about juggling and spinning plates at the same time. Well, I'm delighted to be joined by one of Alana's teammates. Alongside me in the booth is Jasmine Jones, multiple medal winner in the World Cup. Now, you're not pushing today, so got a chance to watch from the outside. What's the feeling among the athletes about this track?
Oh my gosh, this type of feeling that everybody has is just, it's a pretty fast track in that start, as well as feeling those pressures a little bit, so they're really excited to get after it. I'm looking forward to seeing some track records being broke as well, compared to how it was in training.
Yeah. It was, well, you were here last week as well as this week. That's a whole different world, isn't it? Last week, -18, -20 during the day. And this week, it's been kind of -4 or -5. That feels a whole lot better.
Oh, completely warmer. It was way too cold. My hands was cold, so definitely look forward to some warmer weather.
All right, well, we have 16 sleds in our field. And we have one brand new driver and one brand new brakewoman not competing together. So Adele Nicol makes her driving debut, Willa Gibb her braking debut. But we start with Linda Wierzchewski and Marika Zandeka. Now, they are new to the World Cup this season for Team Poland. It's a debut season for Linda, the driver, only her 4th World Cup, only the 4th as well for Marika, the brakewoman. There first off. Does Katy Bile and Jennifer Onosanya's start records survive even one sled? 5:39 is the mark. 5:57, all right.
That's a good getaway for that 5:57. The brakewoman is very strong. I found out she's a power lifter as well.
All right. Well, you've got to have explosive speed. And here, actually, especially, it's not a long, flat start. It drops over that edge really quickly. Out of corner 6, you don't want to see the sled moving up and down too much in 6.
Speeds coming in, a little tap.
Yeah, I see a lot of that from 8 into 9. Whoa! A little late there, whipping out of corner 11. And then 13 here is really key to speed at the bottom. That was a hard flop and a hit on the wall. This is a very quick track this morning. I'm not sure she was quite ready for how fast it is. Is it a
track record?
52.60? So she, our very first sled, that may be the first time she has broken a track record. Now, that was set by Stephanie Schneider in a Europe Cup race here in November 2021. And Stephanie Schneider not hanging around. So a brand new track record.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Dad. All right, well, since it's birthday day, happy birthday also to our videographer and editor, Yuris, who produces all the videos for the IBSF website. Happy birthday to him.
A little bit of a height on there, coming down.
Yep. Now, again, you feel that. You can see the sled there is at 90 degrees to the track. You feel that in the back seat. You're starting to just get a little light. Come on down, baby. You've all been there, even ones that don't involve those nasty crashing noises. Sometimes you're just out of the seat. All right, Katy Bile then, our start record holder, with Anna Schenk with her. Anna in her 6th World Cup start, her first since January 2021. So back in harness.
Oh.
5:54.
Great push with Katy.
Well, Katy missed the whole of last season, the end of the previous year in postseason training. She had a mini stroke and had to sit out last year, so she's trying to get her knocks back in the sled, trying to get her speed back and rebuild the team as well.
Definitely a comeback story. Love to see it that she's getting back after it.
And she's super keen still. She just loves this sport. 8, 9, out of 10 and 11. 2,500's up, better speed than we saw from the Polish sled.
That 13 is getting a lot of people.
It really is. I do think when driving in this morning, the road felt a lot slicker and less frosty than it has done any morning. 52.18. Yesterday at 7 a.m. when we got in the car, it was -10. This morning, only -6. Much less overnight frost. Hopping out quickly, Catty Bile. So 2 sleds down, 2 track records.
Look at that back end a little bit, skidding.
Yeah, backing it into 13, not ideal.
A good getaway.
Yeah, and here's the exit of 13. Just a little late flop again. When you see the runners coming down there and digging into the ice, that's energy coming out of the sled that should be driving it forward, so.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, a little bit of a wake-up call so far. Okay, third up, yesterday's birthday girl. This is Bianca Ribby, now 28 years of age, from Canada. Niamh Hockey behind her, 11th World Cup start for Niamh, 11th for Bianca as a driver. She started as a brakewoman, did 1 World Cup in the back seat. Clearly that was enough.
She was great. Definitely getting after it in sync with both of them.
Yeah.
Ooh, 5:45.
All right, 39 is still the start record. And we may see that the starts get quicker in the second heat as well as some of the frost comes out of the start area. So important to be quiet in this early section. There's no pressure at all, so the sled can skid so easily.
Speeds are looking good.
Second best speed. She's 1400s up on Catty Bile. Again, a little late.
Really doing really well driving, especially this pilot seat. Oh!
All right, third sled down. Curse the commentator, Jasmine Jones has it as well. Yeah, a little late off 13. And we saw how late Catty Bile was. The sled just came back. We saw a couple in the Monobob yesterday where I said if there was a second body in the sled, it would have gone over. And that's exactly how it happens. Now, the good news is they're both in the sled as they cross the finish line. So if they're okay, and hopefully they will be, looks like they are, then they are allowed to go again. And with 16 sleds in the field, they should get a second go. And as you know, drivers and push athletes are really keen not to walk away having just had a crash and nothing else. You want to get in, go again, and get down safe. And okay, great. Now we're good. We've done that.
Exactly. Definitely glad these ladies are okay, because sometimes crashing can be a lot, especially that adrenaline that's pumping. It's just like, what's going on?
Gets very high late in 13. And it is the weight of the bodies inside that just keep the sled from coming down onto the runners. Well, crashing a little earlier than Francesco Friedrich did yesterday in the 2-man.
And 2 runners.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do there. No amount of steering is going to make any difference. Gravity is going to take over.
Exactly.
And so Niamh in the back seat already hunkered down, trying to stay out of the airstream. And Bianca in the front, just trying to keep herself under the cowl, stay as protected as possible.
Definitely have to stay in that sled to remain that body, be protected and tuck in as much as possible.
Well, there's Ribby on the left, Niamh Hockey on the right-hand side. They look okay.
Couple smiles.
Yeah, well, adrenaline does funny things too. Yeah, thumbs up there from
hey, girl, glad you good.
Yeah. And there's nobody that doesn't feel anything other than sympathy, because, you know, if you haven't yet had a crash, you know one day it's going to come. And if you have had a crash, you know exactly how uncomfortable it can feel.
Exactly.
So it looks like they're both wearing burns vests, actually, which is always good news.
Oh, definitely need a burn vest, because the ice burn, especially on that shoulder with the ice and that heat combined, it's a scary sight.
Well, everybody thinks, well, it's only ice. It's like slithering. No, it's like coming off a motorcycle and going down the street. The heat actually burns through. And in fact, the Norwegian coach who I was talking to yesterday, his stepson is driving now, and he was in a 4-man with him. They crashed, and he was at 2, couldn't get in. He's got enormous 3rd-degree burns, a really ugly-looking shoulder. He said, but at least the good news was it was me. And so his wife said, okay, you're just a stupid old man, but if it had been the stepson, her son who got hurt, that would have been a whole different level of pain. So
Ooh, I feel the pain right now thinking about it.
Yeah, track hold on. The workers are just going to check the track. What you don't want is big gouges in the corner that the runner can drop into, and then the sled starts to steer itself, because at the speed they're doing down at the bottom, they came across the final finish eye just under 80 miles an hour, upside down. So, you know, that's... Yeah, those are the grooves that they worry about. I mean, having a mark there is not so bad, but if anything digs in and leaves a little tram line that the runner can drop into, the driver's got to be able to drive the sled, not have the track drive it for him or for her. So, yeah, just a quick check. It'll be a 5-minute hold. So Bianca Ribby, Neve Hockey are down and safe and out of the sled. Next up is Lara Nolte. There's Katy Bile. Yeah, she came close and she knows it.
Oh yeah.
And Ribby there showing exactly what can happen. And nobody's unaware. It's not like, oh, it's a wake-up call. There were crashes in training. People know that.
Exactly.
It's like when you're ice skating, even for fun, people fall on their backside, you know. And here, you're looking for every 100th of a second. So it's definitely not take it easy.
No, it happens. It happens to the best of us, and it's just about getting back up and they cross the finish line as well.
Yeah.
So definitely look forward to seeing her second run.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get a chance to do that. They probably won't move up the order in any way, but you never can tell. It's a strange old sport sometimes. So next up, Lara Nolte, our Olympic champion. And again, having to wait after a track delay, something that everybody's familiar with, whether you're on the block or in the changing room and there's a delay, and you just put your mind into neutral and think about your own things. Olympic winter gold medalist 2022, youth Olympic gold medalist Lillehammer 2016. So yes, she knows this track. No, she hasn't been here recently. They came here pre-season, the German team, most of them for the first time, and everybody was here last week as well. So a little bit of run repetition. Naila Scooten behind her, 10th World Cup start for Naila. 7 medals so far in those 10 starts with Lara Nolte. And a new start record, 5:35. There we go. Now we get into the serious starters.
Oh, definitely. Neely is such a powerful athlete, being that tall and that type of stride length. It's amazing to see.
Yeah, little tap early on from 4 to 5. Nice line in 6, not too much early height. On to 7 pretty nicely. Best speed so far. You'd expect that from the fastest start.
Really clean.
Yeah, got to drive it down now then. Out of 12. Here comes big corner 13, smooth exit. We will see smoother, 3,500s up. This is going to be another shattering track record for Lara Nolte across the line, 51.83. The workers here have got a little sweepstake going on where the track record is going to end up. Somebody ambitiously said 49, very high 49s. I don't know. It might be possible, but it seems a little bit of a stretch now from just inside 52.
I wouldn't be around 50 point. I could definitely see that for the moment. 13.
Yeah, just again, a little late flop out of 13. Takes the tap, but it comes off pretty straight and actually sets her up nicely. Here's into 14. So again, you always watch the brake woman in the back and see how much they get bounced up. And that was pretty clean from Lara Nolte.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely feel those pressures in the back and just want to go with the sled where it's going.
Lara on the right. Naila on the left-hand side. Ultimate faith in her driver. Even when they crash, she'll get back up with her. And that was why they were so emotional to win in Samarit's last time out after crashing out of the Worlds together. Well, next up is Andreea Grecu of Romania. Had a really good day in Monobob yesterday, finished just out of the medals in 4th. This is Teodora Vlad, her brake woman behind her. And Grecu tying the fastest start in the competition, really back to her best after a little bit of a lapse in form early in the season.
5:55 getaway, not too bad. Grecu's definitely a competitor. Seeing her Monobob start yesterday was great.
Yeah. And the difficulty there, and the same with somebody like Kaylee or Alana, you know, a big, fast starting brakeman on the front, and Lisa Bukvits is getting somebody who can match that and add to it on the back. So, yeah, that's a tough recruitment process. 4,800s back for Andrea Grecu.
So far, third.
Yeah, third best speed. Whoa! A late flop off 13. So hanging there for a long while. Third place at the line, maybe ahead of Linda Wieszewski. She is by 1,800s or 1,600s.
Yeah, that 13 is getting a lot today.
Yeah, well, it saw a lot of action yesterday as well in the Monobob and in the two-man. Yeah, the four-man this afternoon is that, again, it's going to be hard to get through there. The track is very slick and very fast this morning.
Exactly.
Andrea taking a little while to get out of the sled. Not keen on that. Again, look, here you go. That's 10 into 11. Big double pressure. And here, 13. Hanging on late.
Yeah, tap, tap.
Yeah. Not too much of a slap. Came off pretty straight. So brake athletes' hips won't be feeling that too much.
Oh, no.
Not much in the way of padding in these sleds, is there? They're not built for comfort.
At all.
Lauren Alter leads after the first 5 sleds in race 5 of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We're in Lillehammer in Norway. Martin Haven and the USA's Jasmine Jones watching yesterday's Monobob race winner, Keisha Love, with Azaria Hill. Azaria in her, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4th bobsleigh race ever.
5:35 start record.
Ties the start record. Yeah, Azaria did 1 race before her World Cup debut, so this is her 4th ever bobsleigh race. That was a pretty impressive start record, and nice quiet hands up at the top from Keisha.
Looks like she's about to catch up with some lines in the green.
Well, having that extra week here last week has really allowed her to learn the track rather than just avoid crashing, move on to another new place, avoid crashing, move on again. And that paid dividends yesterday. Best speed so far. She's building her advantage over the Olympic champion, by the way. 1:31.4, better speed than Nolta, better track record, 51.72 than Lara Nolta. So that is a very impressive drive.
That was a really great run, especially with Keisha and that transition from brakeman to pilot. She's been doing very well this season.
Well, let's talk about the Winter Games in Beijing 2022. Less than 2 years ago, Lara Nolta drove to Olympic gold. Keisha Love was in the back seat pushing. So that's the difference in their driving experience between the two. Keisha with, you know, no experience of almost any of these tracks. So that's that extra week here has really, really helped her learn how to drive the track, whereas everywhere else, you arrive, you get 6 training runs, try not to crash, in mono and two-seat sled combined, and then you go on to another track. So all you learn is how not to crash, and that's not how to go fast. So next up, Lisa Bukvits, Vanessa Mark, World Championship silver medalist, and the bronze medalist yesterday in the mono. Another epically powerful starter on the front handles. Vanessa Mark, her 9th World Cup start behind. Woo. Oh my goodness, 5:33, another new start record. Katy Bile, I'm sorry, Jennifer. There's 600s inside the start record.
I'm always excited to see this 2 pairing because they can just push and just seem so strong and powerful in everything that they do.
Yeah. And Lisa this season has really turned on the driving skills as well. She got Monobob medal last year, but this year in both forms of the sled, she's been really flying. Late flop there. Yeah. Not too bad. It's going to be early on to 14. 200s in it.
Let's see what they do.
Oh, and again, late off 15, trying the Francesco Friedrich line to let it fly. 51.82, a 10th back, but she is in 2nd place. 100th ahead of teammate Lara Nolta. And again, Lisa was in the back seat in Beijing. She was pushing again in the Olympics, and she had started her driving at that stage, learning how to drive, but boy, this year she's developed so fast. Oh, is she okay? Let's take a look at the push handle when she gets in. Yeah, drops.
Oh.
Wow, 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 wow.
Drops just a little bit.
Yeah. Luckily didn't have a whole weight on it, because you just know how much that's going to hurt the thumb. Out of 13. She gets slapped straight, but it is kind of nosy onto 14 very early.
Not too bad. Oh.
Yeah, that's where Francesco Friedrich rolled off 15. Vanessa Mark.
That magic trick.
Yeah, patting her head. There you go. You put so much faith in your driver, don't you? I mean, it's such a team player sport, this.
Oh, yes, you have to trust your pilot no matter what.
Yeah.
And just give them that confidence that we're going to get through this together.
Yeah, absolutely. So much is in the head of the driver. You just, as the push athletes, you really got to nurse them along sometimes. Yingqing of China, 23rd World Cup race for her. Made a debut in Calgary back in 2019.
Let's see what they do. They've been so speedy lately.
Yep. Well, Wang Chuan on the back has not pushed with Ying for a while. She's been with Wai Mingming for the last few races, but Wai is not here this weekend. I don't know why Wai is not here this weekend, whether she's just training elsewhere or whether she's not fit and healthy.
Yeah, that is true, seeing this main China sled for the women.
3,200s back. Top 5 run at the moment. Again, the Chinese athletes very unfamiliar with this track. Not sure that they came here pre-season, so I think last week was really their first view of Lillehammer.
Fourth best.
Fourth best, still 5th place, so creeping ahead of Andrea Grecu. Greku's got good knowledge here. She's raced here a few times, Andrea Grecu, in Europe Cup and so on. So 5th at the line, ahead of Grecu by 2,100s. That's a really good drive from Yingqing.
That is a good drive, and seeing them just keep developing and watching their workouts and everything, it's really great to see how much they're just progressing.
Yeah, and great for the sport that the program continued strong after Beijing as well. You know, there's always the worry that you get to your home games and then everybody loses funding interest and it all goes away, but they're carrying on in equal strength. That's a nice exit out of 13. Watch the backside of the brake woman. Yep, firmly planted in the seat going into 14. So that was a nice, smooth entry, and that's where you keep that speed alive at the bottom.
I want to say she has some pretty good dance moves from last I've seen. I can't remember though.
Oh yeah,
she has some good ones.
All right, we'll catch up with that later in the break. Kim Kalicki and Leonie Fiebig are world champions. Last time out in St. Moritz was the first time that they've been off the podium in 17 straight races. So now they've got to start that streak again. These two are the world champions from St. Moritz last season. Kim Kalicki struggling with a little bit of injury. She stepped back from Monobob to focus on trying to stay healthy in the 2-seat sleds.
Yeah, that 536 getaway is really good, especially with feeling some injury.
Well, Leonie Fiebig's career, I think, is a real indicator for a brake woman of what a bit of talent and an enormous amount of hard work can produce. She was struggling to get a ride early in her career in the first season or two. Now she is absolutely an indispensable number one. And, has had so much success with Kalicki. 100th in the lead, best speed, here we go. New track record incoming. She's got enough speed there, yes she does. 400's up. This is going to be very close with Keisha Love, but she is in front by 400s.
Yeah, that was a really good run with Kalicki, especially seeing her do this 2-1 race and not the Monobob.
Yeah. She's just trying to stop aggravating that injury. And again, you know, as an athlete yourself, summer or winter, doesn't matter what your discipline is, sometimes you have to, again, look at her hopping out there. That right leg is still not comfortable. You've got to protect an injury. Sometimes you're nursing an injury. You've got to compete. And that's just the way it is.
Exactly. You never want to overdo it either, because we still have a lot of season left, still have worlds left. and you just need to be prepared for that exact race.
And look, they're the world champions. The World Championships are on home ice in Germany. That's not one you want to sit out with your leg on ice. You want to be there at as good as you can. And so much then falls on the athlete on the back, on Leni Fiebig, to really help power those starts. There she is.
Yeah, she's definitely a monster on the back. I watch and I'm like, girl.
She is. She's just getting so indispensable. Now, Melanie Hassler with Mara Morel. Mara, her first World Cup medal, last time out in St. Moritz when they hit the bronze.
5:43.
5:43. Nadia Pasternak, her long-time break woman, back at home with Robin Heinrich. I know they'll be watching even this early in the morning. Young babies, make sure you're awake in plenty of time for the telecast. 1600s back. And she had an okay day yesterday in the Monobob. Only 9th place out of 15. Wasn't one of her better days. I wonder if this is going to be a little sharper. She's in the top 5 at the moment.
Definitely see how her 2-woman goes today. She's definitely just her athleticism and how she drives is just incredible to watch.
5th best speed, nice onto 14. The tap went well for her. 6th best speed, still a top 5 run for Mel Hassler. 52.07 ahead of Catty Bile by 11 hundredths.
Yeah, that was a pretty good run, especially being a top 5.
And 65 hundredths inside the start record at the start of the day, inside the track record rather at the start of the day. So that was a quick run. 5th fastest, but there's a big gap from her to the medals of a quarter of a second nearly. Well, that's not too bad out of 13. Just gets that slight little nudge into 14. That allows her to get on pretty smoothly. And then onto 15, you saw her immediately control the sled to stop it rising.
Just definitely want to have too much rising because that gravity can do something.
Well, the other thing is you're trying to go as straight as you can down the track, and the more you meander side to side, that's why you don't see race cars doing it. Margot Bock for France with Carla Seneschal behind her. Talia Solitude raced last time out in St. Moritz. Carla back on the sled. And so Margot doing what a lot of athletes do is rotate the push athletes, keep them race fit, you know, a week off to recover. And you see that Margot, after a crash earlier on, wearing a German helmet. She's not, in fact, I think actually that Carla is as well. They had a crash in training, had to borrow helmets. 5:52 getaway. She doesn't have the strongest start, and in the mono yesterday drove really well. Margot's got good history here. In the last World Cup weekend in 2022, 2 Monobob golds and 2 Bobsleigh golds. So she must feel very happy coming back here.
Oh, she definitely has to feel super confident, especially alone with her knowledge of this track, with World Cup ECs. She knows what she's doing.
7th at the start. Only 9th best at the moment. Oh, big slap there, and that's going to rob so much speed from the sled. She's going to be behind Linda Wierzchewski, 9th at the line. In fact, just ties with the Polish sled, 52.60. Now, the Europa Cup is the lower tier than World Cup, so you don't often get the world champions and so on, but there is a lot of very good driving talent in there. So, yeah, they're both wearing borrowed German helmets, I think.
Big height coming down. Ooh,
yeah, this is good.
Slap.
Now, you can imagine being in the backseat, that's going to be a pretty rough ride.
Oh, yes. You can definitely feel that type of tap around like the hips, especially in that back end area.
Because you're just sitting between the metal tubes of the chassis on the carbon of the floor, so there's no padding.
That with the brakes, helmets just bouncing, you definitely have to make sure you're locked in and like stabilized in there.
Yeah, and it's important that the weight also works with the sled. Like sitting on the back of a motorcycle, you can have a big effect on the sled if your body's going the wrong way, as we saw with the crash. Next up, Alana Myers-Taylor and Emily Renner. Alana, bronze medalist in the Olympic Winter Games in 2022. 50 World Cup medals in her women's bobsleigh career so far. That's as many as the next 2 most successful women in the field combined.
All right, 541. Definitely love to see E squared, Alana and M.
Yeah. This is her 91st World Cup start, Alana. 14 on the brakes.
91st.
Yeah, I know. She's been down a few tracks, and of course, like so many, first race weekend here.
It's definitely having that earlier training definitely pays off of just starting to learn the track.
Yep. And as well, not having to transport the kids every weekend. So she's been here for 2 weeks with Nico and Noah, and that makes a big difference as well. They're more comfortable, she's more comfortable.
Exactly.
5th best speed, 5th on the split of the 5th best start. There should be a top 5 run at the bottom. Ahead of Melanie Hassler, she is by 500ths, and she's only 2 tenths out of the medals. Now that's going to be tough to do. Didn't see a run there that looked like there was an easy 2 tenths to find.
Yeah, she had a pretty clean run going down. I know beforehand there was a couple struggles, but she's been cleaning that up.
Yep. So Emily Renner on the back. Emily's 7th World Cup start. 2 bronze medals with Kaylee Humphries. You know what that feels like, winning medals with Kaylee.
Oh, definitely. Shout out to Kaylee. How you doing, girl?
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what she and Travis end up with as a pre-Christmas, I guess, middle of the summer. The baby is due, maybe even late spring. So, yeah, shout out to them back home in San Diego. Next up, Brianna Walker, silver medalist yesterday. Her coach in the background, I really gave him a tough time yesterday. Pierre, please don't murder me. Pierre Luders, still the track record start holder here for 2-man from 1993. Here's Brianna and Kira Rodinguez. Kira's 10th World Cup start now, 5:41 getaway. That's as good as Alana Myers-Taylor and Emily Renner, so that's 5th fastest start, just 500ths off the leaders.
Bree is so fast.
Yep.
It's like so nice to see how she can just move it, Kiara, and just letting that sled go with her and adding to that speed.
Yeah. Only the 8th best speed as she comes into the labyrinth, so not quite as quick as I had hoped she might be. Out to 6th place behind Alana Myers-Taylor. 9th best speed. Looks like they may not have the ideal setup on the sled. Those lines are looking good. Here we go. That's a little better.
It's a quiet run. It's really
Straight down the middle, and 51.99. 300s, there's Pierre Luders. 300s ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor. Top 5, that is a good opener. Her best ever World Cup result in women's bob, as opposed to monobob. 4th place in Innsbruck at the end of last season, the final World Cup race of last season. That wasn't the finals, it was before the World Champs. Take a look at the load. Again, she's one of the quickest starters. Just got her right foot there over the cowl. Looked like it had a little bit of a slip on the final step.
It's a nice load.
Look at the exit here now. That is how you come down smoothly off 13. You don't fall onto the ice. And then that brought her beautifully into 14. And that's where the speed was at the bottom. So easy to give speed away very early on in the run, and that's one of the key areas before you even get to turn 4. This is Cynthia Appiah, first time racing here for her, and Leah Walkenden behind. This is her 9th World Cup start for Leah. 20th World Cup for Cynthia Appiah after 13 as a brake woman.
Definitely excited to see how her monobob race went. She did very well, especially in that first heat.
Yep. Yeah, suddenly last weekend, and again, maybe having 2 weeks here had really helped that. She was back on form in the mono yesterday. She's not really had that form all season long. She's going to kind of hurry up offense just 1 week in each track. 2 tenths back in 9th place off the 9th best start.
Looking really good up top and getting that speed coming down.
She's not had a top 10 finish in women's bob so far this season. So to do that at a track that she's not raced on before will definitely underline that Cynthia is coming back. 10th place on the splits at the moment. It's a battle between her and Andrea Grecu for 10th, and she takes it. Only 200s behind Yinqing in 9th, only 700s behind Katy Bile in 8th. So right away, 700s covering 3 sleds going into the second heat. There's a battle for position, and she'll fancy her chances of maybe picking up a spot or 2.
It's definitely seeing the competitiveness between this group of women, because I love all these girls. They're just something else.
Well, the great thing about this sport is that nothing anybody else does affects your run. So it is you versus the mountain versus the stopwatch. And that means that everybody is in the same boat. Everybody shares the same challenges. It's just as cold for everybody. It's just as slushy or wintry or rainy or whatever. So I always find that it's just, everybody has the same attitude, and there's so much respect between the athletes. Next up, our first of 2 British sleds now. Dale Nichol, her driving debut in the 2-seat sled, having done a couple of Monobob races, and Kia Placide behind her. Second World Cup for Kia. She raced in Innsbruck with Nikki McSweeney. Kia from Cardiff, a former gymnast and sprinter. And that's the Welsh connection with Welsh shot putter Adele Nichol.
Kia's 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Baby.
19 years young. Yeah, she is a baby, absolutely. So they got together because they actually train in the same sprint facility down in Cardiff, although Adele's from North Wales. So 5:46 getaway. That's very good, same as Cynthia Appiah and Leah Walkenden. It's a top 10 start. So first time out driving in the 2-man sled for Adele Nichol. Raced yesterday in the mono. She had an absolute disaster. The steering wasn't working properly on her sled yesterday, they discovered after the race. 7th best speed.
It's definitely great to see more speed in sled, especially in the women's.
Yep, absolutely right. All right, looking to try and hang on in the top 10. She's just slipping behind Cynthia Appiah at the moment. Nice smooth lines at the bottom, across the line in 11th place. So how close she is, tied with Andrea Grecu, in fact. So tied for 11th on a 52.44.
Oh yeah, she was tucked in going through that finish line. You have to make sure you can get as aerodynamic as possible to save any type of time you can.
Absolutely. Well, Mike Harris and the New Saints, her main sponsor. It's a soccer team based in Oswestry in the Welsh Marshes in England. They're leading the Welsh Premiership. And there's Kia at the back. That power stride to launch herself into the sled. And out of 13, that was a nice smooth exit. Takes the tap, doesn't quite come off square. And into 14, yeah, a bit of airtime there for Kia. Whoa! That's a little bit of in-flight turbulence. Apologies for that. Drink service will be resumed as soon as everybody's got their seatbelts back on.
You can feel a little bit of that air in the back. A little bit lift up.
And Nikki McSweeney is our 16th and final sled with another debutante. Behind her is Willa Gibb, 20 years old. She's a hurdler and equestrian athlete. Came in from the Talent ID Days, British Bobsled held in 2022. She's studying at Newcastle University. And she has had 6 Europe Cup races. Now she makes her World Cup debut. 3rd different sled this season for Nikki McSweeney. This one she's rented from the Swiss. 5:58. So whatever else, we know it should have speed at the bottom.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially being 20 years old and having so much accomplishments, and this being your World Cup debut is it's amazing. Still have so much time to go.
Absolutely. Only the 3rd World Cup start for Nikki McSweeney as a driver. She did 5 on the brakes, plus the World Championships 2013 with Misha McNeil, and 2015 with Victoria Olay.
This is a clean run.
Nice looking lines. Oh, little rattle from Nikki. Learn the track and learn the new sled as well. Dives short through the final corner, comes across the line in 15th spot. So the down and done, they complete our first run with a 52.66 ahead of young Privy and Nick Hockey. So congratulations to Adele Nicol on her driving debut and Willa Gibb on her debut in the back seat as a push athlete.
It's so crazy when you think about how many pilots that were brakemen before.
Yep.
And it just adds on to how much they understand the sport and as well as even the driver's side.
Well, all coaches will say, give me a fast starter and I'll teach them how to drive. Now, not everybody will have that feel that you need for the ice to really excel, but you really want the driver to have a start as well. And again, Nikki and Adele, both brake women, both competed in the back of sleds, you know, at World Cup and World Championship level. So, well, she's funding herself for the entire season. So, yeah, there's lottery funding for the GB men's team, but the women's teams and the other men's teams that we'll see, not Brad Hall's team, will all be self-funded. Our first heat leader, Kim Kalicki and Leonie Fiebig. The world champions in top form, just a whisker off the fastest start, 100th off the fastest start, but a brand new track record to lead the first heat. Again, look at Kim's face there. She did not look comfortable when she got out of the sled. She did not look comfortable walking away. They're racing next week in Sigulda, so there's going to be a stage where she's going to have to prioritize the World Championships and think about either missing a race weekend or sitting in. And she doesn't want to drop further down the World Cup rankings because that affects where your start draw is likely to be for the World Championships. But I think she's got to look after the body. It's clearly still an issue. Well, all 16 sleds left the start and arrived at the finish with everybody intact, even if not necessarily all the right way up. And hopefully we will see all of them back in action for our second heat. That will be at 10:55 local, 9:55 GMT, 04:55 Eastern, and that is in 1 hour and 5 minutes from now. Get the coffee on. We'll see you then. Bye for now.